Welcome back, racing fans, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting as we kick off round number one of the RSR Cup Series for Evolution Racing League here at the Daytona International Speedway after we set the field with last week's dual races and clash also from last Tuesday. So what a race those were, and what a race we had in the ARCA Evolution Series just an hour ago. And we cannot wait to get this one kicked off here as these guys are finishing up their practice session, getting ready for this round number one of this long, grueling season to kick off with. We got some new faces, new drivers. It's going to be a beautiful, long season, and I can't wait to be a part of it here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. But as always, we must give a huge shout out to our sponsors that make all this stuff happen for not only Freaky Fast Broadcasting but the Evolution Racing Leagues. And so we want to give a shout out, of course, always to Nissan Central, the primary series sponsor here, as they are the leading Nissan dealership in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. You can go check their website out at www.nissancentral.com. Also, another great sponsor they have here at the Evolution Racing Leagues is Sheffield Graphics. Remember, they specialize in sim racing paint schemes as well as team logos and race posters, and they do not charge for their work. They only ask for donations to the Folds of Honor charity, where you can find a link to donate to the charity directly from their Facebook page at Sheffield Graphics on Facebook.com. So make sure you go look up Sheffield Graphics on Facebook, and you can get you some iRacing paint schemes done, logos, race posters. I'm sure they can do all types of stuff for you there when it comes to design and graphics. So go check out Sheffield Graphics and see what they have in store for you there. And we also got to give a shout to ButtKicker. Feel what you have been missing. Every game deserves a truly immersive experience. The ButtKicker Gamer 2 lets you feel every detail, from the subtle footsteps to a rumble of a V10 powered race car. From ambient environmental effects to the power of a nearby explosion, by moving a physical mass instead of only air, the Gamer 2 provides instant, accurate, powerful base response, and it's all perfectly synced with every game with no additional software required. So make sure you go check out ButtKicker at buttkicker.com, and you can also use FreakyFast20 to get 20% off on any purchase at buttkicker.com. So you definitely got to feel what you've been missing, because it's a great product. So thank you to all the sponsors here at Freaky Fast and the Evolution Racing Leagues as we kick off the RSR Cup Series here tonight at Daytona. It should be a super special one, as we got about a minute and a half left here in the practice session before they roll to grid, as we do not have qualifying tonight, as that was set by last week's dual races. It should be an epic season. Brandon, what do we have in store for us here?
Well, a lot of bump drafting here tonight, Zach. It's the quickest way to get around this place, especially in a pack. And these guys are only running 75% fuel, so there is going to be some issues with fuel length, especially with the stages being 25 laps, then to lap 50, and then a 30 laps stretch to the end of this race. And that second stage, or the first stage and that last stage, are really where guys are going to want to pay attention to how much fuel they're burning, and maybe figure out a sneaky strategy here to gain some track position and maybe pull off winning this thing.
Well, pulling off a win in your first race of the season is always a great feeling. We should definitely know that from talking to David Edwards, who pulled off a 6/1000th of a second win there in the ARCA Evolution Series just 1 hour earlier. So I would not be surprised to see something even closer here tonight. Another thing I want to watch for is, we had Ryan Bean. He's a really good driver out here who we need to watch for, because he just seems to have a bunch of plate experience, not experience I would say, but just plate. It seems like he's always there when it comes down to the end. I mean, pretty much he won our playoff race, then he won the clash race when we come back here this season, and then he did very well in the duels, but I think he got caught up in something, so that definitely didn't play out for him. But got a lot of big names coming into this, and it should be a special night, as we got a lot of cars here. We got 38 cars ready to do battle here at Daytona tonight, and it could be any one of those 38 cars that we end up talking to in victory lane here later. So we'll have to see how that all shakes out. And I will say, as I call out the grid right here, we will not have a grid, as these guys did not qualify in this session. And that's how our software works with the session data. So right now we're not getting the data that we need, but I can tell you row by row where your favorite drivers will be starting tonight here at Daytona. As on row number one, these are your dual winners from last Tuesday. So these are people that really put themselves in position to start up here. You have Trevor Masati, who's going to start on the inside of row number 1. Alongside him will be the 29 Curtis Preston, defending 2020 season champ here, RSR. Third is going to be GT Irizarry there in the second row in that 14 machine. Alongside him will be Chad Biesinger in the 23. Row number 3 is going to be filled up with Nolan Potter on the inside lane with the 55 of Adam Buzzio alongside him. Row 4 is going to be Zach Strittenthal and Ryan Ezel on row number 4. Row 5 is going to be Travis Everett in the 59 with the 68 of Andrew Little start beside him. The 6th row is going to go to the 12 of Craig Burns, and then Randy Cornwell will start on his outside with row number 6. Row number 7 will be Harold Watkins in the 22 with the 28 of J.R. Miller. The 8th row is going to be the 21 of David Hall and the 3 of Bob Fitzpatrick. Row number 9 is going to be the 131 of Dylan Reed and the 38 of James Courtrow. The 10th row is going to be Kevin Jadrosich. Alongside him will be Nathan Campbell. Row number 11 will be Kip Easley in the 24 with the 31 of Casey Kuntz. Row number 12 will be Marc-Andre Thibodeau with Daniel Gonzalez starting alongside him in row number 12. Row 13 is going to be Brock Potter with Cody McCauley in the 62 starting on row 13. Row 14 is going to be Tony Louie in the 13 with the 25 of Ryan Bean. Row 15 is going to be the 112 of Kevin Ruff with the 42 of Alex Rudolph. Row 16 is going to be Michael Martino in the 75 with Dustin Stallings in the 93 alongside. Row number 17 is going to be Kevin Zabladil in the 17 with the 11 of Matthew Rush. Row number 18 will be Kevin Sabilla in the 78 with the 1 of Michael Sheffield on his outside. Row 19 will be John Willett with the 54 Anthony Younes. And rounding out your field, row number 20 will be Robert Nestor in the 8 car. As we got 38 cars here to do battle tonight, and it should be a special one. Very, very special for all of us here at Freaky Fast as they get ready to bring them down to the start-finish line.
Well, Zach, you know you got a pretty good field when it takes almost an entire pace lap here at Daytona to go through the running order. So this should be a fantastic race here. A lot of battling all throughout the field with this many drivers, and a lot of points up for grabs here and a lot to lose as we go to green.
Green, green, green.
And it is a lot of stuff up for grabs. Pace cars in. The green flag is in the air. The 2021 RSR Cup Series has kicked off here tonight at the Daytona International Speedway with Trevor Masati and the 88 leading us down to turn 1 with teammates GT Irizarry and Curtis Preston getting locked up together on the outside line already here early in these 80 laps.
Yeah, no surprise there. Making really good use of their starting position to secure a bit of an advantage here and just push each other to the front and just kind of hang on to that inside lane for a little while. And it's always good when you're the leader, got a teammate behind you, and know it's somebody you can trust to push you and help defend that position when the outside lane really gets a strong run.
Great last season's champion Curtis Preston looking to lead lap number 1 of the 2021 season. So leaving off where he left 2020, Curtis Preston here going to lead lap number 1 as these guys start to single file out a bit. I think you're going to see a good bit of patience here early in this 80-lap event here at Daytona. And then I think around lap 25 when that stage 1 starts to come to a close, we will see the energy pick up.
Yeah, I think you're right. Once we get down to the point where the stage is going to end and these guys are all going to be jostling around to get some stage points here and just start, saving away in that piggy bank early in the season and, try to cash in late when it really matters come playoff time.
Playoff time is going to, we witnessed it firsthand, Brandon. It is very intense, and you need to build up as much as you can to go into that. So we're seeing these guys start off 2021 in a bang, and I'm sure this race is going to end in a big bang.
Man, Zach, I'm looking through the field here, and it's very rare that you get to run a race at a plate track with this many cars, and just seeing how far spread out the field is, they're almost taking up a whole set of corners.
As I see out there, Jerry, thank you for that. Yeah, so it's Trevor Massetti. There we go. So I'll make sure to get that one correct as he goes throughout the rest of his race. He's right now running in the 3rd position of Trevor there in the 88 machine as they come out of turn 3 and 4 here. You're looking on. There was a nice, beautiful shot from the head of that 29, and it's like I said, I think right now everybody is just single file, nice and patient. Who's going to be the first one to break that all up and say, I'm going to the front?
Well, looking at it, we got a little group of 2 cars here on the outside trying to get something going. I believe, surprise, it's Randy Cornwell there. He's a pretty aggressive driver. We see him, really take the initiative in a lot of races just to make something happen. And he and J.R. Miller in the 28 are making a charge up toward the front here.
Yeah, I was about to say Randy Cornwell is definitely one not to sit back and let these guys just ride around.
And it's a really hard thing to do at a plate track is just kind of sit in line and ride because it's almost like a Sunday drive and it gets kind of boring from the driver's seat when you're just, cruising, got a, uh, podcast. That's the word I'm looking for. A podcast on in your headphones, just chilling.
Every time I picture this track, I just picture like the scene from Ricky Bobby the movie, where Jean Girard is just driving there drinking tea, and that's what I like to think of when we're in these single file lines. But I tell you what, it's no longer single file right now. These guys have dropped the tea out the window, and I think they're they're trying to go get the lead.
Well, we've got a line of about 6 cars here on the outside back to Chad Biesinger in the 23, all looking, and they're making a strong run up toward the lead here now to challenge Curtis Preston and GT.
Big runs from this outside lane. GT is going to hop up to the top here in that 14 and try to get the run here from that number 18, Randy Cornwell, who was, like you said, was the first one to make anything happen here. But early on, we already got some racing here, 6 laps into the event in Daytona.
Yeah, if they were trying to save fuel or just take it easy, it didn't last long. And we've talked about it before. It seems like it only takes, one guy to really step out of line to set everybody else off going, okay, we're going to race now.
Looking strong already out front here. Is Curtis Preston continuing to lead in the 29. And I tell you what, if he can come out here and win at Daytona after winning the championship, that's a great way to kick off, trying to go to your title defense.
That's kind of making a big statement about why you are the champion, coming out here, first race of the new season, putting your foot down, saying, hey, you're going to have to beat me if you want to come out of this thing champion this season. So I'm trying to go back to back.
Look at this one on from GT's quarter right here, left rear quarter panel. You can see the 88 Trevor Massetti there on the bottom lane working his way through that turn 3 and 4 side by side all the way back to the 10th position here. Is these guys go to battle here at the Daytona International Speedway. This place is like a gladiator ring, man. Sometimes you literally can never get rid of your competition.
Yeah, there's really no way to ever break away. Occasionally you'll get, cycle around for green flag pit stops. It spreads out the field a little bit, but it always seems, that bigger pack. Generally, it seems like the bigger pack ends up being behind the smaller pack and never in front of, and then they just reel them back in, and then next thing you know, the field's all back together again.
Look at this beautiful racing around the Daytona International Speedway. What a scene it always is here to go around the high banks of this 2.5 miler as these guys race their hearts out, trying their best to build any type of run and momentum they can with these restricted race cars with the lower horsepower. That's, anybody out there who's new to all this racing comes down to aerodynamics. So breaking that draft, it's almost like if you get behind a semi on the interstate, you can actually feel that you got to use less throttle behind your car because the air resistance is broken up due to that huge boxy truck in front of you. So that's pretty similar to what these cars do. Is what we use is called draft to get these huge runs and momentum build up to race each other like this.
And it's a really fine art being able to, plan out your runs really well. And it looks like, we got 3 wide, about the 6th position. Now, Randy Cornwell opting to drop back, maybe overheating just a touch, trying to push GT. As it looks like now, I believe that's Trevor Massetti looking to contend for the lead here in front of the 14 of GT Irizarry.
Yeah, Trevor jumped up to that outside line, leading here with GT directly behind him in the 14. He's been challenging up here, but the thing is, we talked to Trevor. He's the guy. He made everybody notice, man, you can save 40 laps of fuel here and make it that far. on a full tank, which we only have a 75% load here tonight, so you won't see anybody doing that numbers. But he showed that that is a possible thing, and he said he likes to ride near the back and kind of let these things play out. But I think Tiers tonight, he said, you know, I'm starting on pole. Let's go out here and lead some laps in this 88 machine.
Well, I gotta say, it's almost more dangerous to start in the front and try to move to the back. Um, just being off pace, knowing you're trying to head back there. Some guys, they're not gonna realize that you're what you're trying to do, and you can get rear-ended pretty easy. As he gets a little off-center bump from the 14 there. Good job, GT, recognizing he wasn't in a very good position to give that bump and backed out of it a little bit.
And it looks like Trevor Massetti there going to take the lead with GT RSR there directly behind now, ahead of teammate Curtis Preston, as the outside lane kind of deteriorates from there. We got 4 cars up there. Look at Cody McCauley in the 62. He's made his way up there. We got Nathan Campbell in the 52, a couple car lengths back from this front pack.
Yeah, and it seems like it's been side by side racing to the front, and then a bit of a single file line, and then another pack toward the back that's about side by side. Just trying to, maybe catch a little bit of the draft to the outside line ahead of him and pull forward. It's been really calm. Haven't seen too many, close incidents that might have resulted in a wreck. These guys have been doing a whale of a job so far. Really recognizing, hey, I shouldn't bump here, and being really patient, which you would absolutely expect. Only 13 laps now coming to take lap 13 here into this race.
Looks like the lead is changing hands like Pokemon cars in elementary school again, Brandon. As, GT was already there taking the lead from the outside lane with the help of Curtis Preston. He jumps down to the bottom. I think now they're going to try to get Curtis Preston to leapfrog back in front of him possibly. And this is smart stuff. If you can get 2 teammates in both lanes, this is very nice. And oh, Trevor Bassetti. Oh no, contact.
Oh no, Curtis into the wall.
There's a big wreck here, guys. Huge, big one happening here early at Daytona on lap number 13. The whole field almost collected in this. This is carnage.
Wow, looking at that, there are so many cars that just had nowhere to go, and quite a few people. I saw the 22 at Harold Watkins. He somehow Mosesed that wreck. Man, not a scratch on that 22.
Wow, what a first warning unofficial caution here on lap number 14 here as we try to go back on our replays and show exactly what happened. Wow, man, carnage. Look at the cars flying in the air. Multiple cars destroyed. Bob Fitzpatrick. You got Cody McCauley, front end destroyed. A lot of cars pretty much raced, not, I wouldn't say over, but their chances at a win probably out the window here early. And a few guys making it through. The 22 at Harold Watkins just barely skating through. You see the 2 is extra throw going up the racetrack. Looks like the 38 makes it through. There's a few guys that made it through that, but man, that right there was a big one if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, if you happen to miss the ARCA race preceding this that we covered, it looked very similar, but a lot more cars this time by to get collected in that. I'd have to wager that there is more than half the field that has pretty significant damage, and very few guys that managed to get through that pretty clean.
Wow. Yeah, it really all kicked off here as we're still going through the replays. These are some beautiful shots here we're giving you guys. Looking at this right here, riding on board. Looking at what you see. This is what you see at Daytona. I mean, you see the smoke and just every lane clogged up, guys slowing down, guys trying to make it through, and just nowhere to go. Nowhere. It's really almost impossible, and I'm not sure who we're on board with, but man, they did a great job to actually get very little damage here. So that looks like we were on board there with Michael Sheffield. So great job by Michael Sheffield to get limited damage out of that in the one machine.
Yeah, that one car, he's trying to keep his new Sheffield graphics scheme pristine here and show off the goods.
Yeah, that he is. And, what really came down to there is you had Trevor Massetti there go to the inside there, GT, who kind of got up off the groove. And I think GT was trying to get back up top and kind of got into his teammate, Curtis Preston. And then from there, Curtis Preston bounced into the wall, and it was calamity pretty much. So, yeah, Curtis Preston, our last season champion, race ending already as he's brought that car behind the wall. First car to bring it behind the wall tonight. So it looks like he will be finishing 38th here tonight, most likely from what it seems.
Well, to let everybody know, also, if you want to check it out for yourself, go ahead and check the links in the description to see our live timing so you can keep up with everything that we're seeing on the track. While we're under caution here, it looked like only 7 cars were not on pit road. That is how big that accident was and how many guys got collected in it.
That is calamity in here, and I don't believe we have the live timing in the description, but I will post these in the chat here so everybody can. So there it is on YouTube for y'all, and here's the Facebook link. Here you go for uh, live timing. Oh, I'm getting confirmation it is in the descriptions, but I don't see it in the YouTube one.
That's so nice. We'll send it to you
Oh,
twice.
no, I do now. Wow. Yeah, I'm blind. So sorry about that. But yeah, there you go. You got it in the chat now if you need it. Man, but way too yeah, we got to come out way too early for that.
Hang
Yeah,
on,
that
we're
is
not going
unfortunate.
green.
Definitely early in for a lot of these guys' nights. I mean, I'm sure a lot of these guys are gonna ride around try to get as many points as they possibly can here, but it's that's tough. I mean, it's shrunken the field down a good bit when it comes to clean race cars.
Yeah, I looking at it, Zach. The 12 of Craig Burns has a little bit of damage, but I believe the first car with a clean race car is that number 9 of Kevin Jadrosich in 7th place.
Wow. Yeah, so you got Brock Powder hurt. Yeah, it's really just the first 8 is really what I'm seeing that really don't have too much damage. There's a few other guys back here that really don't have too bad of damage, but there's definitely a lot of damaged cars out here on the racetrack.
Yeah, absolutely, and a little bit of damage is not going to completely kill your race. It may kill the possibility that you can win, but you can still get a very good position out of it. But keeping that nose clean and really just the car clean in general, even a little bit of rear end damage is going to hurt your speed. Is really the key to having a chance to win here, because any bit of damage and you're not going to be able to lead very effectively.
Yeah, damage is not your friend here at Daytona, that's for sure. It just does not help for aerodynamic drag that you want to have the least as possible. And I believe the lights will go. Lights will go out in the pace car this time, so we will be going back green flag racing this time, and we'll see how it shakes out with guys with damage that how many are slow, who's hurting the worst. We'll find out all this as the race continues on. But man, I tell you, a lot of guys involved in that early incident there. I'd say at least 30. That was at least a 30 car pileup.
And looking back, Travis Everett's car looks pretty clean. Matthew Rush also looking really clean. Then the 75 of Michael Martino in the 10th position also looking pretty clean. So we do have a few cars jumbled back here that don't have any damage. Hopefully anybody in front of them is not going to be really down on power and maybe create a roadblock to cause another problem.
That's what we'll have to see here. So, yeah, man, that's unfortunate here before stage 1. A lot of cars taken out, but that's the name of the game here at Daytona. It's all about survival. I talked about it before the race started about it's just about getting to the end of these things, and you never know what position you can put yourself in. So we'll have to see how it all plays here at Daytona as we continue on to lap 25. Remember, that's the end of stage number 1 here. And remember, 1st through 10th receive points. So your first place driver is going to receive 10, and they're from 1 point down from there, so on. So those points are going to be critical for when it comes playoff time to you making the playoffs or not. So let's see how it all goes as we get ready to bring this pace car down, bring these gentlemen back to green flag action here at the Daytona International Speedway with the RSR Cup Series as the pace car takes the hard left turn down the pit road. Trevor Massetti will lead us to the green flag. Green flag in the air with Harold Watkins side by side in the 22. John Ouellette in the 3rd position. There are a lot of guys from 30 positions up almost, right?
Yeah, and sometimes it's a big wreck like that where it is really beneficial to be in the back. Because really out of that front pack, it was only Trevor Massetti, who was leading at the time, that made it through.
We'll have to see. He was our pole setter tonight. He's done a good job to keep himself out of harm's way here as they go down the back straightaway. Harold Watkins, nice run down into turn 4 with the help of Michael Sheffield in that one machine. Just not going to get clear, though, as the 88 fights back on the bottom with the help of John Boilette in the 81.
And looking back to the 17 at Kevin Zabladil, he restarted in 21st and has a really clean car. Now just trying to navigate slower traffic here, hopefully not lose the draft, but a lot of cars now really struggling, even with the draft, to keep pace. And you talked about these stage points. I think that's the biggest issue that a lot of these guys are going to have, is that now not only do they have wrecked race cars, but they've got no chance of getting these stage points to put them even farther in a hole.
Yeah, and we've seen stage points are huge as we're right on the front row. Kevin Sabadell is, I think he can foresee the future here before the stage ends, that he does not want to get caught up in anything. So he just decided to back one out of his. The racing's definitely picking up because, I mean, we'll be coming right here to 6 to go in the stage.
Yeah, and it might be a really smart move by the 17, just making sure that he keeps his car clean. I mean, these stage points are nice, but if you can't make it to the end, I mean, you may gain an extra point here for, getting into the top 10 just barely by the end of the stage. But if you get wrecked, you're not really going to be able to gain too much. And I guess he's hoping at this point maybe they get a little bit too racy, and some of these clean cars out here that were able to avoid that wreck aren't looking so clean after.
When we almost just had another incident is Michael Sheffield clears himself here. That was super close between the 1 and the 88 as Michael Sheffield came down the racetrack pushing Harold Watkins to clear that bottom lane. It was so close between that 1 and that 88.
Yeah, the 88, I don't know if he's just maybe a little bit too aggressive at this point. He's just after the lead, something fierce. And Michael Sheffield, one of the lucky ones to get through that wreck, as well as the 22, making good use of their fortunes here to charge up toward the front, as Trevor Massetti and now Craig Burns are charging back on the outside.
And that's the philosophy here at Daytona. That's one of the interesting things is you have things play out here at Daytona at a completely different pace for some people. Some people really want to be that methodical, hold back and just keep your stuff clean to the very end as they go by the, I believe it's the 38 James Court run right there. I believe so. Yeah, that was James Court who was blown up, engine expired. So, yeah, and the thing about it is, like I was saying, the mentalities are completely different. You got the 88 who says, he wants to be out front. I think personally, he has the right mentality of staying out front is going to keep you the cleanest possible. It can't, a lot of wrecks start up front, but also it can lead to you missing those wrecks by being, farther out in front of this field. And I usually take the other mindset of trying to stay clean, and I think it gets me in trouble sometimes. So it's really a methodical thing that you must think about when you go to these plate tracks. But starting to fall to the side of staying out front is the safest place to be.
Yeah, and the philosophy behind it is, if you're the leader, the only car you need to worry about is the one directly behind you causing an issue for you. Whereas if you're back in the field, you got to worry about everybody else ahead of you. As we saw here with 38 cars, that could be a lot of cars you're going to have to worry about.
Yeah, 38 car fields are no joke, my friend, that's for sure, as they're coming through this time here for lap number 23 to complete this. So this next time by, when we cross the line, we'll have 2 to go in stage number 1 here at the Daytona International Speedway to see who can bring home that stage victory and get a chat with Mr. Brandon Colley. I think that's the most important thing. The 10 points are nice, but chatting with Brandon is, that's special.
Yeah, everybody out here, that explains all the wrecks. They're just so eager to talk to me and answer my questions.
Well, you got good questions, my friend. That's all that matters, okay? With 2 to go here in stage number 1, looks like right now he's still got the 88 of Trevor Massetti. They're leading this race as Harold Watkins fights back on the bottom with the help of Michael Sheffield. You got Craig Burns there pushing Trevor Massetti. Remember Craig Burns last season, how strong he was at some of the plate races too. And really any race, Craig was strong. So we got to watch that 12.
It looks like 12 might be overheating just a little bit, was peeking the nose out. And I've got to wonder how much that nose damage is hurting him actually being able to push up, or maybe causing a little bit more of an issue for him overheating. As the leader's coming up on a lap car now. Looks like Bob Fitzpatrick decides to go high and edge this time to Trevor Massetti. just going to clear the 22 here, see if he drops down.
He decides not to do it. So white flag though for stage number 1. Let's see who comes back around. Is this your stage 1 winner here?
I don't know if that was a really smart move by Trevor not to hop down there, knowing that the car behind him has nose damage, isn't really going to be able to contend with him very well. His biggest competition, he was going to be able to pin behind him.
Side by side as they go down to 3 and 4. Who's going to come back to the line first? The run is going to be built from the top lane, I think. Here's the 22 Harold Watkins with the 1 of Michael Sheffield behind. Here comes the 88 surging forward as they go down the front straightaway to the line. Who is it going to be? Trevor Massetti is going to win stage number 1 here at Daytona as he started on the pole too. So what a great start to the race for the 88 of Trevor Massetti.
Yeah, really good positioning there, and also got to give a shout out to Craig Burns, able to push as effectively as he did with that nose damage and keep the car cool, but still not really lose much ground doing it.
Great job by all these drivers out here to bring that back to the line nice and clean and have a great finish. And we'll let Trevor Massetti hit pit road and get all his service done before we bring him up here to talk about his stage 1 win of round number 1 here for this season. So that's a great 10 points in his back pocket that he can have a mistake here tonight and still have those 10 points to help him out.
Yeah, just those extra bonus points. It's nice to have a little bit of a cushion to fall back on, because it's inevitable. Everybody's going to have bad races, and it's just building up that pool that you can call upon when you really need those points later on.
What a stage number 1 that was, Brandon. It's been a pleasure so far here through stage number 1. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in here on Freaky Fast Broadcast. Thank you for the kind comments out there, too. We really appreciate those comments. They definitely encourage us to keep doing this stuff. So it's definitely a big help from having the fans out there and letting us know they enjoy what we bring to them each and every night here on Freaky Fast Broadcast. But we also have to give a shout out to the Evolution Racing League, because without them, we could not bring you this fine of action here on this racetrack at Daytona. And it's going to be a wonderful 2021 season here as the Freaky Fast I said network broadcasting has been. It's just really going to be a great year for 2021. So we appreciate everybody tuning in as always. And make sure if you haven't hit that like, that follow, that subscribe, or that bell notification button, hit that up, and you can tune back in for one of our other races, or even next Tuesday you can get notified when we go live for your favorite Evolution Racing Leagues races. So these guys are going to hit pit road, get some fuel in these race cars. I don't know how many tire changes you're going to see. We do have 3 sets of tires here to start off the night, so they got 2 in the pits. So tires not going to be a huge issue here at Daytona. It definitely can help your maneuverability, but tires are definitely the least of these guys' worries. It's going to be that fuel talk all night long.
Yeah, absolutely. Tires are nice. They help a little bit, but it's definitely not what you're worrying about. It's mostly the aerodynamics that you're going to be taking care of throughout the race and making sure you've got enough fuel to make it to the end.
We'll see who wins the race off pit road. Looks like Trevor Massetti, our stage 1 winner, did win the race off pit road there in that 88. So we will bring him on up here and get a chat in with Trevor to see what his thoughts are on stage number 1 here, round number 1 at Daytona, and see how it's all going for Trevor. So here is Trevor Massetti, your stage 1 winner.
Hey, Trevor, it's Brandon up in the booth, man. You got a copy?
I gotcha.
Well, man, started off getting the first pole of the season. Now you've got the first stage win of the season. How is this race playing together? You feeling pretty comfortable here? And it seems like, is your game plan just to stay up at the front and kind of avoid all the trouble?
Yeah, I think, like I said last week, I normally don't like staying up front or qualifying up front because it doesn't normally work out in my favor. But seems like it's going good now. I was able to avoid the stuff with GT and Curtis, which I feel bad for that. I honestly didn't even know what happened, but hopefully they can. I know Curtis is out, but maybe GT can get his stuff fixed and come back out here.
Well, it's been an exciting race so far. Are you going to try to approach this stage any differently? You think maybe take it easy, or are you still just going to try to go out and maybe win back-to-back stages here and maximize your points?
I think it'd be cool to win both stages, but I'm definitely going to prioritize having a clean car for the end of the race rather than getting stage points.
All right, man. Well, it's been a blast to watch here, and been doing really well so far. So hopefully you can keep that thing clean, and maybe we'll talk to you at the end of this thing, or even for the next stage win.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, you heard it there. Stage 1 winner Trevor Massetti and the 88-year pole setter also coming in here tonight. So congrats to him on that. He's had a wonderful start to 2021 for him, as Craig A. Burns here going to lead us to the green here for the start of stage number 2. And I tell you what, every time there's stages, we've seen this last season, Brandon, the intensity ramps up more and more every time that stage ends. And I would expect stage 2 to be a little more wild, possibly, or even maybe calmer. But then once we go to stage 3, it's all hell let loose then.
See, I'd have to say that stage 2 may be a little bit calmer, just because there's not quite as many cars to really be up here racing for the lead. I think we've only got about 10 cars that really are not that badly damaged. And you talked about Craig Burns going to be leading us back to green here. He's got that nose damage. I don't see him leading very long. Should get at least this 1 lap led, so it's an extra bonus point for him, I believe. But he'll be falling back in line here shortly. I imagine maybe hooking up with Trevor to start pushing him again.
We'll have to see how it all plays out here as the pace car pulls in. This time, Craig A. Burns is going to lead us back to green flag racing in the 12 machine, as the green flag is out and away as we begin stage number 2 here at the RSR Cup Series for season in 2021 here. What was the caution?
I believe that was an admin caution. I'm not sure exactly why. I think there was a jumble with the starting order.
Okay, so that will be our 3rd caution, or Nissan Central caution of the evening, but I believe this is not for no wreck, so there no need for a replay here. But yeah, I guess something was a little bit off there for that start, so we'll have to see what they can shake up here, because something definitely went wrong there.
Yeah, it was just a bit of a miscue, trying to clear black flags, and so just threw the caution and get everybody reset up and make sure everybody's taken care of here.
Well, we'll get everything reset back up, and this is going to help them for saving some fuel. So that'll definitely, even though fuel is really not going to be an issue, as they only got to go to 50 for stage number 2. So not too big of an issue, but definitely will help save a little bit, put less in it for that next stop. But we got a pretty funny comment out there, Brandon. He's Michael Martino. He says, as an owner, my wallet's not happy.
Yeah, I would not imagine. I think any owner going into Daytona or Talladega, they're cringing the whole race.
Yeah, I've always thought of that too. I mean, there's 4 races each season at Daytona and Talladega, where we go into here pretty much as the NASCAR Cup Series does, and it's pretty much like they're just burning money. It's like a track where it's like, well, most likely 70% chance here we're going to lose money this weekend, but we could come out of there clean.
Yeah, if you've ever seen the scene in The Dark Knight where the Joker just lights the pile of cash on fire, that's what it's like coming to a plate track for a team owner.
Yeah, I know Tony Stewart loved plate racing for that reason, so he always talked about that. So, I mean, maybe one day they will use Tony's idea. One stage they go forward, then the next stage they all go the opposite way, and one field.
Yeah.
Then you have one. Then the stage 3, you have one set of the half a field going the right way, and then the other set going the wrong way. So, I don't know. It's already pretty entertaining in my opinion, but I mean, if you really want to get the entertainment value out of these plate tracks, then I guess you could do something wacky like that.
Have half of them slap on some dirt tires so they can go through the grass on the infield too. Just throw it all up in the air.
Now, this is a little off topic, but have you seen where they already started putting dirt on Bristol? I mean, wow. It's Yeah, they started with the dump trucks the other day at Bristol. I'm kind of mad at myself because I was going to get some tickets to go watch it, but it's already sold out supposedly. So I've lost my time to
I
go
heard
to
that
that.
sold out
So,
really quick.
yeah, it did. It did. I should have thought of that personally, but sometimes my brain does not run through those certain simulations there, I guess you could say. So I'm interested to see what we can get on iRacing too, because iRacing, this great sim we have here, we get all these cool tracks that NASCAR goes to, and I'm sure before they have that race, I'm sure on iRacing we will have that version of Bristol, and I just can't wait to just. I just could have never thought could see the day when we were going to be running cup cars on dirt.
I'm not a really big dirt guy. Anybody that knows, the racing I like to do a little bit of road racing, mostly oval, occasional dirt stuff, but it's not my favorite thing to do. But if not if, but when we get the dirt layout for Bristol, I'm gonna have to do it just for the novelty of it. It's just going to be a cool experience. And it's like Zach said, it's one of those awesome things that we get to experience here on iRacing. You can play, a lot of different sims and, any of the NASCAR Heat video games, but you're not going to get the same type of experience as you're going to get on a sim like iRacing, and it's amazing.
That it is. It looks like we'll have a single file restart. And I was just thinking while we were talking about dirt, I would just throw some dirt on Daytona. Now that would be the world's
Ooh,
fastest dirt track in the world.
and I don't want to see that pebble screen they've got to have on the windshields for speeds like that, man.
You hit by one of them pebbles, you'd be going to the hospital.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty much a bullet at that point. To be real with you, that's very dangerous. So, yeah, crazy stuff. But I mean, you never know. I never thought we would say the Cup Series is going back to the dirt. So I'm excited to see it. I mean, just to shake it up. I mean, it's just a regular season race, so we'll see how it all shakes up. But I tell you what, this single file restart here, because we had back to back yellows like that, without a lap getting completed. They have this set up like this. I'm interested to see how the single file restart plays out here. Who jumps where and what jumps. So we'll have to see here as pace car's going to take that left hand turn here down the pit road, and we're going to get the green flag in the air. Back here underway racing for lap number 33 here at the Daytona International Speedway for the RSR Cup Series.
And that gave me some flashbacks of old school NASCAR right there.
Yeah, it really did. And that was always a big thing. The single file restarts here really made it kind of really interesting. To you kind of controlled your own destiny instead of hey, I'm stuck in the outside or the bottom. So it's pretty cool to see. But looks like the top four kind of broke away there for a little bit. But you'll see this the rest of this pack start charging up on them any second now.
Yeah, once these cars get up to speed and guys are still side by side, that draft's going to play huge factors. We've got, it looks like, up to the top four opting to stay single file. Now we have third place hopping out here to the high side, maybe pick up a draft to get something going. Trevor Massetti still holding strong, pushing Craig Burns, but I think that's the wrong decision. You've got to know the damage that Craig's going to have, and it's going to slow you down. You're not really going to be able to push him very well.
Yeah, and looking at Craig's car, it's not terrible. It definitely is a little crack in the fender there and by the hood. That's not going to help that aerodynamics, especially for the drag, and make that air flow smoothly over that race car. But it's not terrible. And the biggest thing I'd be concerned about is just giving him too big of a push, because his car is going to have a lot more drag. So it's going to be a lot easier to suck up to that car, and it's going to have the possibility of you getting into that rear bumper and possibly sending him around.
Yeah, and I don't know. Let me think back here. Trying to look back to the field here to try to find a really good side by side. Cars are just so spread out. May have to hold off on it until we get a really, all the rest of the cars back up here to the front and get two solid lanes going. But just you can see how much Trevor Massetti's kind of bobbling around on the back bumper a little bit, and it's not really anything he's doing. It's something we talk about plate racing all the time. It's you're really just focused on the car ahead of you. And you just kind of subconsciously turn to try to keep straight, thinking that that's the direction you need to head in with a little unsteady wheel by the guy ahead of you. And pushing like he is right now, you do that a little bit too much, and you can hook somebody pretty easy. You've got to be dead center and giving them a good push. Otherwise, it may result in another big crash.
Alex Rudolph going to lead that lap by there in the 42, a newcomer to the series. Got teammate John Ouellette up there. Or, wow, I said wrong that time. Ouellette up there on the outside in the 81. Also another newcomer to the series. And also Trevor there. So we got some newcomers going up here putting a show on. But I also gave a shout out to Adam Buzzio, Harold Watkins there, the 6th and 7th position. They marched their way up into this field. We got Anthony Hughes, who started dead last on the field, up to 8th. Got Ryan Bean, the plate racer himself.
Well, I think we talked about how good Ryan Bean has just been at these plate tracks every time we've come here with the RSR Cup Series and Evolution Racing Leagues. I think that's going to come to an end today. A little bit too much damage, but he's still in a really good spot to finish well. That's for sure, without a win.
Yeah, he definitely has a little bit of damage on both the left and right front. It's not nothing. I don't think it's going to be too detrimental, but the way he's going to have to win this race if he wants to win it is a last-ditch effort coming out of 4, because I don't see that car leading very well.
Yeah, he's going to have to hope that it's a 3-car breakaway and he can pull out and have the guy behind him go. That's about his best chance, I think. And I think that's the best chance for quite a few of these cars.
It definitely is here, as they'll come by this time to complete lap 38 here at the Daytona International Speedway. So we're nearing the halfway point here through our first event of the 2021 season. It's been a ball so far, and I tell you what, it's been I gotta say, that big wreck there, Brandon, might have took the record for the fastest we've ever seen.
I'd have to say so. I thought it might have been the ARCA wreck that we saw just before that, and nope, these guys went up and upped the ante and said, you know what, we're going to go down on the record books for freaky fast one way or another.
Hey, I mean, the record books of freaky fast are illustrious, okay?
That's right.
Any way you can get there in the record book is a great way. So, you know,
I mean, it's better to be known for something
of the races, but yeah, better be known for something than nothing. That's right. But I tell you what, that was one heck of a wreck. I haven't seen one like that in a while. It just happened right up front, so it was definitely took a lot of cars out. This racing here, Craig A. Burns done great in that 12 to keep himself there. And I tell you what, I'm surprised the 88's not super hot yet in that with that car with the engine tips, because he's been all over the back bumper at 12. You can see he's all over the back bumper shoving that 12 right now.
And I tell you, I was actually a bit surprised that the 88 has stayed behind the 12 as long as he has. But like you said, that damage on the nose of the 12 it's got to hurt him a little bit, but it's not really showing right now. He's still got plenty of speed, especially with as hard as the 88's been pushing him.
Going to pass Bob Fitzpatrick there, the lap car with a bunch of damage there, but by them, they will go. And tell you what, it's the thing about these cars too, when you're in a pack like this, yeah, we don't have the whole field as much as we did before. This is still a pretty decent pack here. And visually, it's hard to see in these cars. I mean, me and you allude to this all the time, Brandon, about how hard it is to see. And I think we can jump on board here with the number 25, Ryan Bean. He's the 3rd car in the bottom lane here, and just see exactly what he sees from the cockpit view to, show you what these drivers see from the rear view. I mean, from the front windshield when they're behind someone. As you can see here, you got Jerome Ford now here with Ryan Bean. He's heading down into 1. I can see some smoke. That's always ominous. But as you can see, he's got the 2 cars directly ahead of him, but Trevor Massetti and the 12 with Craig Burns. And you see he ducks out a little bit there to the left. I'm not sure that could be grabbing a little bit of air just to cool that nose off a little bit. But from there, when he gets directly behind him, he cannot see the Craig A. Burns. Craig A. Burns is virtually not there today. And it's just, you can see how tight it is. You got the 81, the 42, and these are at speeds of 195 mile an hour going through the center of the corner. This is not an easy thing to do here. You got to be so steady with the wheel and just, hope in front of you everybody stays and keeps it together, or stuff happens real quick. As you see Ryan dropping down there. I think that is grabbing a good bit of air. He must be suffering definitely from some heating issues.
And as we're riding along, looking at him now, just imagine you can't see Craig Burns, just 1 extra car ahead of him. Now imagine you're 10th in line going on the backstretch and something happens in front of you. You've got no idea what's going on until it's probably too late to ever react to it.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely you can jump back here to the 22 of Harold Watkins. He's in the 8th position on the bottom right. If we get back to the 22 and see exactly what the 22 sees. I mean, you can see he always sees the car directly ahead of him, and he's got a whole set of 4 cars ahead of him. I mean, it is so tough to see with these cars that it's really unbelievable.
And the biggest thing that I've experienced and I've had to learn is that it's a lot of predicting with plate racing, just kind of anticipating where somebody's going to be and predicting what they're going to do. And they always say that the best thing that you can do when you're racing is make yourself predictable, and it's the safest way to get around the track.
No, predictability is definitely the safest way to go, Brandon. You hit the nail on the head there with that statement, and that's you got to be predictable. And if you're not, that's when you have big incidences. And it's all about holding that wheel straight and keeping yourself nice and tidy. As that was a great onboard there we have with these guys to show, how tough it is. I mean, hey, you're running wide open, just turning left. It's a lot more than that. It's really just knowing where your whereabouts are as they come down here this time. And next time by, we'll have 5 to go in stage number 2 already.
Right, and intensity should be ramping up here a little bit. 88 is just giving the back bumper, that 12, all he's got right now, trying to get up here, pushing back to the lead, at least finish 3rd for the stage. And, going back just for a split second to the visibility, not only do you have to worry about not being able to see, but also you've got the nerves and the adrenaline going as well, knowing how close everybody is. And you get a little bit shaky, especially, when you're relatively new to doing it, just the excitement and, how awesome it is. You get a little bit shaky, and it makes things just a little bit difficult. And imagine everybody around you doing that. It's a hotbed for a lot of disaster, and that's what makes it so fun.
It's disaster waiting at any corner. Just right around the corner for you. There it is. Oh, there it is. It's so hard to react. I mean, you can kind of loop this, Brandon. Like, when stuff happens, it happens in the blink of an eye here at Daytona. It doesn't happen where you see it all play out and you're like, oh, I can do this. When you're right behind someone and it happens right in front of you, it's almost impossible to react. You just got to really hope that it goes away from you.
And, we saw it before with the big one to start this thing out. It's easy to kind of predict where one wrecking car is going to go, but when there is 5, 10, trying to keep track of each one of them individually. Ooh, his lap car's coming a factor here. Looks like everybody gets by pretty clean. You just kind of lose track of where everybody is and, figuring out, okay, where's this car going to slide? Where's this car going to slide? And then there's cars that you don't even see that you have to try to take into account for. And sometimes there's just nothing you can do.
Daytona is a cruel, cruel place sometimes. Let me tell you, this place is and you see a lot of lap cars out here riding around on the apron and up high and stuff and going real slow. That is the most dreadful existence you could ever have at a place like this. Is just to ride around wide open all by yourself, going 50 mile an hour off the pace.
I want to talk about podcast driving. That is exactly what these guys are experiencing right now, and it's really boring to do, but it's necessary, especially this early in the season with this many cars in the field. You just got to, claw for every single point you can get.
It comes down to the determination at that point. If you got to show the determination to go out there and just complete laps, even though you're off the pace, you don't have any chance at anything, you can still go out there and get a few positions or points that could be critical for getting you into the playoffs. If you come down to the end of the season and you missed the playoffs by 1 point, and you didn't go out there and put the laps in that you could have kept running to get yourself into that position, you're going to beat yourself up at the end of the night. And it's something you don't want to, have happen. It's definitely getting wild up front here now, Brandon, as the field is getting ready to come to the white flag for stage number 2 here.
Yeah, Trevor Massetti, really good job pushing the 12 out ahead. I don't know if he's going to jump out of line here, maybe try to get a run to beat him at the line. Doesn't look like it. Looks like Trevor Massetti going to maybe hang on for second in the stage here, but Craig Burns with the nose damage hanging on pretty strong as the 42 is now fighting on the outside with his teammate John Willett.
White flag for stage number 2 in the air. The 12 of Craig A. Burns leading the way off of turn 2. What does the 88 have to give him for push? As the 42, Alex Rudolph getting a good push from John Willett there in the 81. Down the back straightaway, they pull ahead. Does the 42 drop down? He does. I think that was a smart decision here coming through 3 and 4. Who has the run, though? Does the 81 get a run from Travis Everett? We'll have to see. Looking at the run from the 12 to the back bumper of the 42, a little squirrely. Who's going to win stage number 2? It's going to be Alex Rudolph in the 42 machine.
Yeah, really good coordination between teammates right there. John Willett had a split second where he could have taken that stage. Travis Everett just a little bit too far back to help him as much as Craig was able to help the 42.
Great finish. That's setting up for a great finish at the end of this race, too. So we can get some more action like that. We'll take it here at Freaky Fast. So congrats to Alex Rudolph. We'll let these guys hit pit road, get their service done, and then we can get a chat in here with Alex Rudolph and see what his thoughts are on winning stage number 2 here at Daytona.
I tell you, man, I'm really impressed with a lot of these guys. They're pushing aggressively, but it's very patient at the same time. Not really too many risks being taken here, and really good, clean stage 2.
Very, very impressive so far, my friend, through the first 52 laps here. That was a great stage there. Definitely great hard racing, but everything was pretty clean. So we'll see how it all shakes out as these guys continue on here to stage number 3, where all the business starts happening, because that's how you're going to win this race. And, it's great to have stage points and all, but to come out of here a winner is going to be even better.
Yeah, well, we talked about the fuel mileage. With the 75% fuel load, they're not going to be able to make it to the end of this stage without some really aggressive fuel saving. And with the amount of damage cars we have right now, there's not a lot of guys behind and effectively save fuel. So it's looking like if stage 2 was a precursor to the final stage here, there may very well be some green flag pit stops. It's just a matter of who plans that out perfectly and maybe runs it backwards or runs it in half, knowing they're going to have to stop and just out strategize the other teams.
I think I think you're going to want to make it to the end. I don't know if we'll go the whole way without a caution, but I think you're going to want to go all the way to the end. I think you can do it, man. I really think you can make these final, to what is it would be, it'd be when they cross the line here, 28 laps on a tank. I think you can do it.
I think if you plan ahead enough to decide not to lead, I think you've got a chance to be able to save the 1 or 2 laps that we may need to make it to the end of the race. But it's going to be pretty close. I imagine guys are going to already have to have their minds made up what their plan is here. And you're just going to have to stick to it. We very well may see some guys just running out of gas at the end and just not quite having enough. And it's going to be really cool to see. I love when plate races come down to the wire like this, especially on fuel. It just kind of adds to that intensity.
Yeah, that does, my friend. But we will get a chat in now with the 42 of Alex Rudolph and hear what his thoughts are on winning stage number 2 here at the RSR Cup Series. So here is the 42 Alex Rudolph.
Hey, Alex, it's Brandon in the booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Oh, man, great job making that run to the outside there on the last lap of stage 2 to take the stage victory. Up 25 positions from your starting spot after we've cycled through for the pit stops, man. How are you feeling about this race? And I got to ask you how you made it through the first big one that we had here.
Oh, well, the first big one, I started late, so I was about 15 seconds off the draft there. So I was actually fortunate enough to miss it that way. So it was timely caution for me for sure, but got a little luck there.
A little luck goes a long way. You're making really good use of it. How do you approach this final stint here, this race? Are you feeling pretty confident on fuel?
Oh yeah, feel good on fuel. Just took a full load. Should be good on gas. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens here. Just gonna ride around. So I got a good bit of racing left. What, 25 laps or so?
Yeah, a lot can happen in 25 laps. We've seen that already. So we'll let you go back to it here as you guys get ready to go back to green and wish you the best luck. Maybe we'll talk to you at the end of this thing.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.
All right, that was the 42 Alex Rudolph, and while he was doing that, he says they're good on fuel. I believe so too. Doing a little math, with a full tank, we were able to. Trevor Massetti was able to stretch it 40 laps on our dual race. With 75% load, we're going to have about 14.6 gallons in the tank. So with 14.6 gallons, you should be able to go about 31 to 30 laps. Compared to the fuel mileage that Trevor Massetti got from the dual race. So with it being right here when they take the green, 26 to go, that should be plenty enough fuel. It'll be close though. Green white checker would put it in that window of not making it. So
This is why Zach is a Road to Pro crew chief and I am not.
gotta crunch some numbers, man, as the pace car pulls in here. And we get ready to head green flag racing as Trevor Massetti drops straight to the bottom to get right there with Craig A. Burns on the bottom lane with the 25 of Ryan Bean. But look at the 42. Great run from Alex Rudolph. Can he clear? I don't think he'll be able to get there as he gets directly side by side, but no help for him. He may be going backwards.
Looking back to see what happened to John Willett under that cycle of pit stops. He's back in the 24th position. Don't know if there was maybe a mistake on pit road, had to have a hold penalty, but definitely not up there to help his teammate anymore.
Riding on board here with Craig A. Burns directly behind the leader of Trevor Massetti. Look at this great shot here you get. This just shows you how hard they're pushing the 12, sticking straight to the back bumper of the 88 as they go through the triangle here in Daytona. The 42 Alex Rudolph is on the outside line. Drops all the way back to the 7th position, but he should have some help now with that 9 that Kevin Gatter sits directly behind him, who is the team.
Yeah, and then directly behind him, the 78 of Kevin Sevilla. Still really clean cars here, and then it looks like the 11 of Matthew Rush looking to follow suit on that outside lane. So the outside going to be making a pretty strong charge here.
Yeah, I think you had a few guys, personally, Brandon, in that last stage who kind of just rode in the back and made sure they got through it. As they had close calls in that first wreck, so I think it kind of scared them into submission, saying, all right, we're going to make it to stage 3 and then we'll go racing. Because I've seen a few new names up here with some relatively cleaner cars than I thought they had.
And sometimes it takes a big wreck like that for a lot of guys to settle down and go, okay, I'm just gonna not push the issue here anymore. And unfortunately, a lot of guys that would take that approach get caught up in it a little bit too late. I know in my experience doing plate races, I'm always pretty conservative with how I'm running and how hard I'm wanting to push, especially really early in the race.
Yeah, it comes down, and like I said, it comes down to a philosophy. I feel like at plate racing, where you see a lot of guys having different mindsets on what they need to do. But I tell you what, you kind of throw that out the window with about 24 to go. I'd say go time, definitely, if you're saving anything, is going to be 15 to go, and you're going to want to start putting yourself in positions to move forward.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially at a place like Daytona where the track is a bit narrower. There's not really always that third lane that you can go to make the late charge. A lot of times you just wait too long at Daytona, and there's nowhere to go to advance your position. You're just kind of stuck in line, hoping something miraculous happens ahead of you. Maybe that whole line gets pushed to the front, and you're able to just kind of leapfrog everybody else, but a lot of times you wait too long and it's no longer up to you where you finish.
Yeah, there's a few cars that I really haven't caught my eye till now, and the 131 of Dylan Reed is kind of he's completely clean. I thought a lot more of these guys have really hurt cars, but there's some guys back here, especially this little pack we're looking back at, that have some pretty clean cars. Like John Willett in between these two packs, he's kind of no man's land as this other pack's dropped back, and he's trying to catch up to the pack ahead.
Oh yeah, I think he just got held up after his, I would assume was an issue on pit road, and looks like unfortunately he's not quite got the draft. Maybe with these guys checking up a bit, he may be able to latch on here. But yeah, a lot of clean cars that were just kind of hanging out at the back, playing it safe, really charging to the front now. Like that 131, like the one on Michael Sheffield now, making a charge up to the outside. We got
Oh, we
some
have a car. What car is that? Oh, that's the 55 of Adam Buzzio. He had a moment there. Oh, he's going to slide up the racetrack. What a save by him, though, because that is hard to do to keep that 55 down on that apron like he did. Here comes the faster pack behind him, but big issue for Adam. Oh, no, oh, I think he's going to save it, though. What a save of Adam Buzzio, the 55.
I'd say would have saved easily. Got clipped in the left rear, sent to the inside wall there.
Multiple great saves here as you look at Adam Buzzio now. He is way back and not going to be able to keep up with that pack. So that's unfortunate for him as just getting knocked out of line there up front. And that's going to transition him all the way back here all alone. He's going to have to hope for something to happen now.
Yeah, really unfortunate, but great job by a lot of these guys. Great job for him trying to keep it down there as much as he could. And great job by a lot of guys. We need to start handing out good hands of the race awards for saves.
There's your freaky fast good hands award. As we look back up front, Trevor Massetti, still your leader here in the 88. What an evening it's been for him so far in these first 60 laps as they come by to complete lap 61 here with 19 laps to go here at Daytona. Should all be good on fuel here unless we go to overtime. But, man, I'm telling you what, it's this race here is going to be wild down to the very, very end here. You're going to have to survive if you want to get back to this start-finish line.
Well, we talked about Michael Sheffield up 30 positions, Kevin Sevilla up 30 positions, Matthew Rush up 30 positions. These guys kept their car clean, really smart racing, and they're trying to make the best of it right now. Ryan Bean still up 25, hanging on strong in that third position. Craig Burns, a little bit of damage, still hanging on in second place. Pole sitter Trevor Massetti back up to the lead since the start of this stage. And it looks like the outside lane's kind of fizzling a little bit, Zach. Guys are opting to just kind of hang out at the bottom here.
Yeah, you know, this is something similar. Oh, whoa, we had another car dip down below the yellow line. That car doesn't even have a front end, but he's still going pretty strong, I gotta say. But I believe that was Gavin Ruff in 112. It was, and I'll tell you what, for no front end running up top 10, that was pretty crazy actually for the 112. But he's gonna definitely have some trouble now. He's all alone. But like you said, Brandon, it's starting to single file out. And this is something you tend to see in the Cup Series in real life here is it gets down to the end of these races. Guys don't want to give up the position they're in, so they start just single filing out, running that top lane, which is the opposite. We're running the bottom lane here. And so, they're going to buy the Zach Strittenthal on the grass there in the two, but he's going to keep it going there through the trioval. But they just single file out, get nice and calm here before the end. And then that last 5-6 laps is an all-out brawl, but I don't expect this to stay for that long single file as you already see the outside lanes starting to build up a little bit again.
Well, the biggest benefit here is, you're on the inside lane. You've gotten pretty good position toward the front here. And when that charge starts to happen from the back, the top lane starts to organize a little bit. You've got the option to hop out in front and take advantage of that.
As you can see there, the outside lane is starting to form a little bit. You got 4 cars up there. They're right now directly beside Daniel Gonzalez for that 6th position right now. So Alex Rudolph in the 6th position. You got 5 cars directly ahead on that bottom lane. Who's going to be the first to volunteer to jump out in front of them? That's going to be the question here. As you got Trevor Massetti, Craig A. Burns, Ryan Beam, Matthew Rush, and Michael Sheffield in your top 5.
Well, now that outside lane consists of 3 teammates and Alex Rudolph, John Willett, and Dylan Reed now finally catching up here. I imagine these guys are going to be going to the front pretty quickly.
Look at the run, the outside lane getting up to the 4th place car. They're going for the 3rd place car next as the run continues to build in that outside lane.
Still got plenty of time here. You can afford to push pretty hard, and you've got plenty of time that you can dip out and cool the car back down, not have to worry about really saving it for that last couple laps and just not worry about lifting. And, you know, if it blows up, it blows up. So make good use of that time now. And they're really organized, really smooth, just dead in line with each other.
Great racing going on here with 15 laps to go in the RSR Cup Series for round number 1 here at Daytona. It's been a special night here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Thank you all for tuning in, but let's watch these last 15 laps as it's going to get wild, as always, here at Daytona, as this outside lane continues to charge. Just haven't been able to get past that 4th place car, though.
And that's really what they need to do. If they can get past Matthew Rush, Ryan Bean, his car's got a little bit too much damage to lead the line. It looks like he's having a real hard time getting right up to the back bumper of the 12 of Craig Burns. Now, Craig does have the speed. We've seen it where he could hop out in line ahead of them, but I think their biggest worry right now is the clean car of Matthew Rush.
And it looks like that outside lane is starting to deteriorate as the 9 of Kevin Giadricic jumped to the bottom, but you got the 42 of Alex Rudolph and his dancing partner John Willett there now together also. So those both are together. And in this battle, you also got Dylan Reed coming into the picture in the 131. He's made a few positions back up. He's up to 10th now, with Kevin Sabilla directly ahead of him.
Yeah, I think these guys are just trying to plan something and, you know, try to figure out who's going to be the first one to try to go, trying to set up a good run right when they need it. And right now, there's just not enough cars on the outside lane. It looks like you need about 4 cars to really be effective in charging back up toward the front.
Yeah, and you know how play racing is such a numbers game when it comes to you know, teams and stuff like that and who works together. I think one thing we got to notice right now is you got the 9 of Kevin Giadricic, just the 42 Alex Rudolph, the 81 of John Willett, and the 131 of Dylan Reed, all on EGR. And I could see these 4, you know, grouping up together. Right now, the only other teammates I really see around all this is you got Matthew Rush and Trevor Massetti. They're 1st and 4th. So it's kind of split up here, but you got the 4 EGR teammates. And I tell you what, that's a formidable group right there. If they could get something working together, it could be very, very beneficial for them.
Well, the 9 of Kevin Giadricic top out in front of the 42 of Alex Rudolph, and they've made a good bit of headway here.
They really have. They've now got to that 3rd place car, starting to get to the outside of Craig A. Burns there in that 2nd place on the bottom row. If they can continue that march forward, only 3 of them at the moment with 11 to go. But if people see that 3 of them can do that, I think you'll start to see more people elect to jump up there. It's really right now a team car breakthrough.
I'm really wondering why Dylan Reed has not opted to hop up there and run with his teammates. Maybe just kind of feeling things out and maybe not putting himself in too dangerous of a position yet. Even if he decides to hop out now, he's still got only his teammates ahead of him. Nobody else has hopped up into that line, so he's still got a lot of opportunity, but he seems to be just kind of hanging back, maybe setting up for a really big run.
I can see you can put something together here as Kevin Giadricic with 10 to go takes the lead here on the outside lanes, right on front of this Union number 9 Chevrolet as he's side by side now with Trevor Massetti as the 88 pulls ahead here from this great view. You can see, look at this though, the one's going to come down the back straightaway here as the 9 starts to use that outside lane to pull even with the 88.
It looks like 42 a little bit overheated here.
That's going to slow their run down. You're going to see him drop back to that 2nd place car. But here comes the 131 now. 4th car to the rescue. We got 4 EGR cars up in the top lane ready to go to work.
And this is really, you know, when you've got teammates, this is the type of stuff that you try to plan for the entire race. Put yourself in this exact position where it is your team controlling your team's destiny.
Yeah, this is exactly what they wanted to see personally as it comes down to the end here with 9 to go. Ryan Bean a little bit up the racetrack, almost into the 9 of Kevin Giadricic. It's a close call there, but the 88 still with the 12 of Craig A. Burns still pushing strong. And I mean, you got to remember, Ryan Bean got pushed to the win by Craig A. Burns at Talladega. So Craig Burns, he just seems to be an amazing pusher when it comes to these plate races.
Yeah, and there's some guys, you know, we talked about it before, that some guys are really good at pushing and others just, they can't seem to push. They don't have the knack for it. And they just prefer leading. There's guys that can hold a really steady line and be super fast leading, but just can't seem to find the good smooth spot while you're trying to push, which is what you really need when you're trying to really give a good push to somebody to get, you know, maybe ahead in this outside lane, or just keep somebody on the inside lane out front.
Oh, and I just looked this too. You also got the front row racing teammates too, Brandon. Craig A. Burns and Ryan Bean there. So those two are teammates here. So you also got the second and third place drivers on the bottom teammates. So we got some teams here, and then you got the first and fourth there, Matthew Rush and Trevor Massetti.
Well, the good news for everybody else is that the 25 really can't do too much to help out his teammate right now. He's just kind of hanging out and just, you know, trying to stay in that third place on the inside lane and hope that he can come away with a third place position, unless something happens in front of him and he's able to squeak by and just have a one-car breakaway. There's not much else he can do other than hang out right where he's been for the majority of the stage.
They got Kevin Sabilla up top now in the 78 to give a little run. I tell you what, that train is going to start to move forward. They're a lot of energy and very close together, with the front four here on the bottom separated by a good bit.
And Dylan Reed still just hanging out in the back. He made a slight charge there. I don't know if he saw something he didn't like, decided to hang back a little bit more, but quickly running out of time here. He may be just playing a points game, being really conservative, just coming away with a nice top 10 for this race. But by no means, we still got a handful of laps left. There's plenty of opportunity for him to materialize something here and charge the front, as that outside lane looking really strong.
Yeah.
Oh, caution.
Directly ahead of the leaders, those lap cars are they're coming up
Oh,
on the car.
no. Oh, no.
Oh, man, I think there's only two drivers that made it through that.
John Willett and Trevor Massetti both got through it with rear end damage, but everybody else seemed to have just gotten absolutely junked in that wreck.
Kevin Sabilla also made it through it, also, the 78.
Dylan Reed.
Yeah, Dylan Reed made it through too. We'll go back here and check it out in the Freaky Fast replay. You can see the wrecking that ensues here, and this is a couple lap cars here racing. The 23. Can't see the number on the side of that door there. I believe is that the 14? Yeah, it's 14 GT. Sorry. And here you go. See right here, I can't tell which car slides back up onto the racing surface, but some car, I think it was the 23. As we had a few checkups, and even the 42 getting into the back of the 9 as all these guys checked up. It was calamity from there, and man, if we could get a shot from the 78, Robert, on board for that is amazing. The 78 just went through a wild ride. Is all I know of Kevin Sabilla there. Look at all this. Oof. Ooh, heavy hits in the inside wall for the 11, the 42. This is shooking everything up, and also this might take us into a green-white checker.
Just when you thought it was all set in stone.
Yeah. Here we are with the 78 and Kevin Sabilla here as we ride along. We'll watch exactly what happens. You see the lights for the caution flick on right there as these guys start to check up. First, the 42 gets in the back of the 9, bumps him. And then from here, look at this. Just everything ensues. The 78 a little bit into the rear end there of the 81. But watch this right here. You're going to see the one of Michael Sheffield into the side of Ryan Bean. It's going to slide across the front of the nose of the 78, and he's going to find the hole here and make it through that wreck with minimal damage on the front of that car.
Yeah, I went back and watched that from his cockpit perspective, and man, cars just coming out of nowhere. And to come away with that little damage, still in a really good spot, running third currently. He's definitely got top 5 potential here. I don't know how well he's going to be able to lead, but I think we were questioning it. Well, I was questioning it, but Dylan Reed seems to have been the beneficiary out of that one. He knew something because he predicted that coming and came away scot-free.
Yeah, we'll have to see if that was his plan because, like, I was wondering if maybe it just the car wasn't sucking up as well and maybe he had some damage that we can't see because he just didn't seem to be sucking up. And then, like you said, it may have just been his spidey sense tingling.
Yeah, and I mean, by no means is John Willett or Trevor Massetti out of this. They've just got a little bit of rear damage. It's definitely better than nose damage. So it's still very much I think even still 4 cars. Kevin Sabilla's definitely got a chance to win this thing still, but if nothing drastic happens to the leaders to open the door for Kevin Sabilla, I think Dylan Reed's probably got the best chance here if he can just find somebody to push him.
Oof, we're gonna have to see here. It won't be a green-white checker, but it will be a technical green-white checker because it will be 2 laps to go when we take the green here. But it will be under official race distance. Wow, this is going to be a great time to tune in if you are just tuning in. So thank you. Make sure to let us know who you're rooting for here in the end and what you think is going to happen, or hit that like, the react buttons, the follows, the subscriptions, the notify bells, all that good stuff here because Freaky Fast Broadcast is about to get pretty wild here with the RSR Cup Series as these guys get ready to take possibly the final green flag here of the evening.
Well, Zach, looking back a little bit, you got to pay attention to the 75, Michael Martino, and the 17 of Kevin Zabladil, both with clean cars.
They do. Yep.
They can get hooked up here. They might have something for these guys up front.
You got Daniel Gonzalez there up to the 5th position also. He's got a good bit of damage on the nose, but if something happens, I mean, we've seen stuff can happen, man, where you can be not in that lead position here at Daytona and come out of the victory here on that final lap. So we'll have to see here as Trevor Massetti here tries to bring home the checker flag as the pace car pulls off this time. And we'll have 2 to go as the green flag is in the air. As you can see, crossing the start-finish line, Trevor Massetti, John Willett jumps down to the bottom lane in front of Kevin Sabilla. Here comes Dylan Reed to the outside in the 131. It's going to be a race, boys.
Well, Dylan Reed trying to get, I think if he can get the 78 just clear and the 78 hops in front of him, he's got a really good chance at this thing.
A great shot at here comes the 78 of Kevin Sabilla with the 131 of Dylan Reed. Great push down the back straightaway here. Dylan Reed's going to pull ahead. Does he drop to the bottom lane? He will, and he will cover off that 88 of Trevor Massetti as they come through 3 and 4 for possibly the penultimate time here tonight.
Kevin's Zabladil on the outside lane here. Michael Martino filing in behind him as the 78's going back, going to block them just a little bit. Opted not to take it 3 wide.
Sheffield Graphics white flag in the air. One final time here for the RSR Cup Series at Daytona International Speedway. It's a 2-car breakaway with the 88 Trevor Massetti and the 131 of Dylan Reed, who will be able to help Daniel Gonzalez giving a push to John Willett. Can they get to the back bumper? The outside lane charging forward with Kevin Sabilla and Kevin Zabladil. We'll have to see, can they get a run? They are getting a nice run on this front pack. Where does Trevor Massetti go? Where does Dylan Reed go? Dylan Reed running the middle lane, trying to pull off this victory here as they come out of 4. The 131 of Dylan Reed, they are wrecking behind. Here goes the 88 of, oh man, Trevor Massetti. It's going to be side by side to the end. Dylan Reed is your winner here tonight in the Cup Series for 4/1000th of a second over Trevor Massetti and Kevin Sabilla in the 3rd position. What a finish to the race here tonight. And man, oh man, Brandon, you called it. Dylan Reed, he played all that exactly right here tonight.
Fantastic. I was questioning the decision to leave the 78 out to dry, and especially with the breakaway they had, it was really in Massetti's hands there to make the perfect move. he timed it just, I mean, a blink too late. A fantastic finish. That was, man, I thought the last one we saw was close. This is even closer.
Wow, this is what a night here. So it's pretty much 100th is separating both the race set differences tonight. So combined, I must add, those are combined intervals. So yeah, that is an excellent way to end it. And Dylan Reed, he's limping back to home because it was carnage after the start finish line. You can see the fireworks going off. I don't think he'll be able to do much celebrating. He's already got the smoke coming out the engine, so that might as well be his smoky burnouts here tonight as they head down the back straightaway. What a great way to start the RSR Cup Series here, guys. I am zoomed after that. That is a great finish to the end of this race. As I think he's going to get a little help here from the 78 of Kevin Sabilla, who's your third place man, 35th of third. So great race for Kevin Sabilla. Trevor Massetti is going to come up one position short, and Dylan Reed is going to win your first Cup Series race here this evening in the 131. As no front end, he's left a few parts behind him. I think they're going to have a tough time passing the inspection with that thing.
Yeah, I think so.
He's like, look, guys, I brought it to you in a million pieces, but it's here, okay? He's going to
trying to burn it down.
Does he got the power? We'll see. Don't think he does. Oh, he might be going head first to the wall. Oh, he got it. That's a good burn. I like the celebration with the broken car. Oh, there it goes. Nice. He at least got some donuts in the grass there.
We got one donut. There we go.
Yeah. Congrats to Dylan Reed. We will take a break here for one moment and get your top three finishers down here and ready for an interview. All right, we are back here with your top three finishers here for tonight's Cup Series season opener here for the RSR Cup Series. Man, I'm telling you, what a race that was. It was so fun to watch, but now let's hear from the drivers themselves on what their thoughts are after this epic race. Hey, Kevin, it's Zach in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Kevin, what a crazy finish down to the end, man. First thing I got to ask you is how did you make it through that last wreck before setting up that final restart?
Oh man, a prayer. That was crazy. My spotter James Wright got me through that bad boy. That was nuts.
It was definitely a wreck that it kind of caught us off guard there. I'm sure it caught a lot of you guys up in pack off guard. That pack ahead of y'all wrecked. And man, I am sure you were happy to be able to get through that thing because that led up to the very end there. You know, being able to have a shot down to the very end. You know, you started really near the rear of the field tonight in that 35th position to come home third. How's that feel, Kevin?
Oh, great. I mean, restrictor plate racing and me don't really get along, but it was just a lot of fun and nerve wracking. I'm still trying to catch my breath.
Oh, trust me, we are too, because we've had two amazing finishes here tonight at the Evolution Racing Leagues. I mean, 6 1,000ths in the ARCA series, and then you guys one up it there by going 4 1,000ths of a second for the race win. So that is beautiful to see. You guys put on a heck of a show all night. We head off to Homestead next week. What's your thoughts on going into Homestead next week, Kevin, after your great finish here tonight at Daytona?
Well, I'm hoping to just keep momentum up. Good start to the season. Just want to keep it going.
That's definitely for sure, man. I hope you can keep it going, because that was, well, trust me, you're going to have to go back and watch that one. We got a great shot of you making it through that wreck. So that one blew us away. So congrats on that, Kevin, here tonight, and bringing home third. Anybody want to send a shout out to before we let you go and celebrate this?
Sure. My fiance, my biggest supporter, Jetsman Racing, James Wright for spotting for me. Obviously, Ryan for setting up this awesome league and getting everybody together, and just the guys. I mean, the talent around here is just amazing. So just the whole thing. It's awesome. Thank you, everybody. And thank you guys for an awesome broadcast.
Oh, well, we appreciate it, Kevin. Without you wonderful drivers, we couldn't do it, my friend. So have a great night, and we will catch you next week here on Tuesday.
Everyone, thank you.
All right, that was Kevin Sabilla there in a 78 machine, bringing home the third position here tonight after making it through that wild wreck. We're going to talk now to our second place finisher. Started on pole, won stage number one, probably led the most laps in this race, and I'm sure made definitely a name for himself tonight. And we'll have to see what his thoughts are on coming up 4 1,000 short of the. Hey, Trevor, it's Zach up in the booth, man. You got a copy.
I got you.
Well, Trevor, I got to say, man, you made a name for yourself tonight, definitely. You kept that 88 up front completely all night. I mean, you started on the pole, won stage one, finished fifth in stage two, and really led us down to the very end of this race, right before things started really, going crazy with that last and final wreck that you were able to get through. Tell us how the racing overall was for you, and, just coming up 4 1,000 short of that win. I'm sure it's bittersweet, but I'm sure at the same time it was a good night for you.
Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it, which is what means the most, I guess. But I had Craig behind me for however many laps that was, and I knew I was in a good spot as long as the caution didn't come out. And then, sure enough, like Daytona always has, I feel like the late caution came out. And so it wasn't what I wanted to see, obviously, but it worked out good. I got second place, so it's good points.
Definitely good points. You also had the good finishes there in the stage. So you most likely came out here tonight with the most points of anybody. So you should possibly come out here the points leader. So congrats on that. First of all, that's a great way to start off the season. Now, Trevor, you are a newcomer to the series, so we don't have as much knowledge on you with, how you do at other tracks as such as Daytona. It's one of the craziest races where it's down to anybody. How do you feel about going into Homestead? Because we have 3 intermediate racetracks coming up next.
I feel good about Homestead. I can usually save tires pretty decently. So I feel like it'll be a lot of strategy as far as, undercutting and those types of things, especially at Homestead. But feel confident. So just put in the time and see what happens.
Well, buddy, we will catch you next Tuesday here at Homestead. But before we let you go and celebrate your second place finish here tonight, anybody want to send a shout out to you?
Yeah, I want to thank the Clutch Motorsports guys for helping me and getting me up there and keeping me up there all night. And then Craig for pushing me for all those laps, and Ryan and Sheffield for putting this league together.
Awesome stuff, Trevor. You have a great night, and we will catch you next Tuesday.
Sounds good.
All right, there's Trevor Massetti there in the number 88, bringing home that second place finish here tonight by 4 1,000ths of a second. But now we have round one winner, Dylan Reed. But must point out, he's a newcomer to the series too, but we've followed him a little bit through the truck series as he raced in the Adrenaline Rush Truck Series here at the ARCA Evolution Series, our Evolution Leagues. Evolution Racing Leagues. I got so many names in my head that I can't even get them all out. But we kind of have seen him, how he performs already, and we know what to expect with Dylan. But man, to come out here and win race number 1 for him, I'm sure he's got to be excited. So let's see what he has. Hey, Dylan, is Zach up in the booth, man? You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, I tell you what, man, you might have been the smartest person down there at the very end. We were kind of watching as your teammates were lining up on the outside, and it seemed like you were kind of hesitant. I don't know if we couldn't. I mean, your car looked clean from our standpoint. We couldn't tell if maybe something else was happening out there, but you kind of, I don't know if you foreseen what was coming with a wreck coming down at the very end right there, or was that the way you were kind of playing that? Because it seemed like you had backed up a little bit.
Yeah, I could just tell something was brewing, and the top lane wasn't going anywhere. They just weren't close enough together, and I know they were all my teammates. We just couldn't get a good enough push to get to the front. So I was basically just gonna weigh my options and just kind of make a last 2-lap decision, but thankfully the caution came out and kind of wiped everybody out in front of me.
Yeah, it definitely did there. You were luckily able to get there. Definitely close getting there for you too, but you got through that nice and clean. Kept it clean for all night for you after we had some wild wrecks out there, man. How does it feel to come in here, race number 1, the first time you've been in the Cup Series here, and just to go to Daytona and get that, win first straight off the bat?
It feels great. I'm not good at plate tracks. I don't have that aggressive mentality to stay up front the whole race. So I just kind of lay low, let everything unfold in front of me, and we'll go from there. But it feels good. So you finally got a plate win.
Hey, well, I'm a big fan of that mentality, my friend. It can hurt you sometimes, but sometimes you can come out of here and race winners. So I'm sure you're happy about that. Dylan, we've seen you in the Truck Series before. You're a really strong driver when it comes to multiple different tracks. We know you got a lot of speed. What do you expect going into Homestead? Is that one of the tracks you think you could have a good shot at?
Yeah. I'm not as good in the Cup cars as I am in the trucks. Cups are a little bit more draft related, and I like to have a car that can pull away. So I'm not sure how I'll do it at Homestead, but it feels good to finally I don't think I have very much pressure going into Homestead, as if I had finished got caught up in one of those early wrecks. So it feels, we'll just go in, practice a lot, and see where it gets us.
Awesome stuff, Dylan. Well, man, congrats on the victory here tonight for your first time here in the RSR Cup Series. Congrats on that, first of all. Was a great race overall between you guys. I mean, 4 thousandths of a second. We had a 6 thousandths of a second race right before this, so we hit 4 thousandths of a second finish right there. That y'all just won up the ARCA Series. So congrats on that. It was fun to watch, man. And we will have to catch you next week at Homestead. But before we let you go, anybody want to send a shout out to?
Yeah, as always, thanks to my wife for letting me race as much as I do. Thanks to my spotter, Chris. He's in the Truck Series. He was out here spotting me the whole race. Really helped me get through especially that last wreck there. Helped me get through that. And as always, I got a new team for the Cup Series. I want to give a shout out to them, and then obviously you guys for broadcasting it. And for Ryan, I think it's Ryan who hosts the league, Evolution Racing League. So thanks everybody for putting this thing together.
Well, thank you very much, Dylan. We will catch you hopefully on Monday, and if not, on Tuesday, buddy. So you have a great week, and congrats on the victory here.
Yeah, thank you guys. I'll see you then.
All right, that was Dylan Reed there pulling off the victory here tonight in that 131 machine. It was a blast to watch, I must say. So congrats to Dylan Reed on pulling it off here. It was a great night overall here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, and you can see the fireworks in the background. That's how exciting everything was, and all the light bulbs flashing here on iRacing, the beautiful scenes. But now we'll pull our race results up and let you know where your favorite drivers finished and what to expect going into next week at Homestead. So your race winner, as we just chatted with him there, Dylan M. Reed in the 131. Second is going to go to Trevor Massetti in that second position. Third is going to be Kevin Sabilla. Fourth will go to Kevin Zebladil. Fifth is going to be Michael Martino. Sixth, John Ouellette. Seventh is going to go to Daniel Gonzalez. Eighth is going to go to Casey Coots. Ninth, Cody McCauley in the 62. 10th is going to go to Nathan Campbell in that 52. 11th is going to go to Kip Easley. 12th is going to go to Brock Potter. 13th is the 112 of Kevin Ruff. 14th is Harold Watkins in the 22. 15th will go to 55 of Adam Bussio. 16th, Mark Andre Thibodeau. 17th is going to be Randy Cornwell. 18th is going to go to Andrew Little in that 68. 19th there is Tony Ludy. 20th is going to go to Travis Everett in the 59 machine. 21st, Michael Sheffield in the 1. 22nd is going to be Anthony Yunes in that 54. 23rd, Kevin Giadricic. 24th is going to be Ryan Bean in the 25. 25th will go to Matthew Brush in the 11. 26th is Alex Rudolph in that stage 2 winner. They're in the 26th position. 27th will go to J.R. Miller in the 28. 28th will go to GT Irizarry. 29th will be Bob Fitzpatrick in the 3. 30th is going to go to Chad Beeson in that 23. 31st is going to go to Craig A. Burns in the 12. 32nd is James Courtronan in that 38. 33rd is going to go to Zach Schrittenthal. 34th, Nolan Potter in the 34. 35 is going to be Dustin Stallings in the 93 car. 36 is going to go to Ryan Ezel. 37th, David Hall in the 21. And rounding out your field in the 38th positions is past season's champion Curtis Preston. As tonight was wild here at Daytona. Brandon, can you sum it up for us?
Plate racing. I mean, that's just the name of the game. I'll say it once, say it again, I'll say it till I die. I love plate racing. It's a lot of fun to race, a lot of fun to call. Man, it doesn't get any better than that. For 1,000th of a second victory. It's a sweet victory and a bitter defeat, but a really great job by a lot of these guys tonight, keeping the car clean and being there when it matters. And can't wait to get to Homestead and see who can, maybe put that new aero bubble that iRacing's given us to use rim riding around Homestead.
Yeah, that would be really cool to see them use that for sure. We also gotta think about Dirty Air too, because this will be our first Cup Series race back since they've added Dirty Air really. So that'll be cool to see how that affects these drivers when they're following each other. Because I can tell you, it's a tough time. It really doesn't like to follow now. So we'll have to see how the racing works out. But Homestead should be very, very fun and exciting. Man, I'm kind of Daytona'd out. We've had so many Daytona races in the past few weeks, but it's getting down to the nitty gritty now, where we're going to get into some of them intermediate tracks, and we can see that pecking order build throughout the rest of the league and the series that year. So I'm excited. I can't wait for everything to kick off and continue throughout 2021. This is just a great way to start it. But now we can send it up to the boss man himself, Robert Moyer Jr., as he will close out this broadcast here tonight.
Thank you, gentlemen. Well, all I can say after tonight's events, if you didn't enjoy that, I don't know what will when it comes to racing. Crazy show, awesome finishes. These guys put on one whale of a show from 7 o'clock till 11 o'clock, man. What a great show from these guys here tonight, man. So, like you said, we're going to be heading off to Homestead next week. So it's going to be a little bit of a different kind of racing for everybody out there. So hopefully everybody did hit that subscribe button and like button so you don't miss any of our action here at Freaky Fast next Tuesday. Or throughout the rest of the week, too, if you enjoyed our commentating. As me and Zach Hall will be up in the booth tomorrow night at 8:30 with Underdog Racing League, as I do believe they're heading into Daytona too. So it's going to be a pretty fun Daytona racing week here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. But again, thank you everybody, and we're going to get ready to pack out of here for the night and get ready for tomorrow night for some more action-packed racing. So until then, we'd like to say God bless everybody. We love yous all. Peace out.
Everybody have a great night.
Bye, everybody.